In the summer of 1994, a man in his early 30s sat in the passenger seat, heading west across the vast American landscape. His wife, Mackenzie, was at the wheel. In the back, a laptop computer held the beginnings of a business plan. This was not a vacation. This was a calculated leap into the unknown. The man's name was Jeff Bezos. He was leaving behind a lucrative, high-powered job on Wall Street. He was a vice president at a successful investment firm, a place where the path to a comfortable, wealthy life was clearly marked. But Bezos had seen something that others had not. He had stumbled upon a single staggering statistic. Internet usage was growing at a rate of 2,300% per year. For most people, a number like that is just an abstract piece of data. It's interesting, perhaps, but it doesn't compel action. For Bezos, it was a siren call. He saw a historical current, a wave of digital change that was just beginning to swell. On that long drive from New York to Seattle, he wasn't just crossing state lines. He was crossing a threshold into a new kind of commerce. He had a simple, almost quaint idea: to sell books on the internet. It was a humble starting point for what would become a global empire, but the choice was deliberate. Books were a perfect commodity for the digital age. Millions of titles existed, far more than any physical store could ever hope to stock, making a comprehensive online catalogue an immediate, undeniable advantage. The decision to leave a stable, prestigious career for a risky venture in a garage in Seattle seems, in retrospect, like a stroke of genius. At the time, however, it was a move that baffled his colleagues and his boss. Why trade a sure thing for a gamble on a technology that many people still didn't understand or trust? The answer lies in what Bezos called the regret minimization framework. He imagined himself at 80 years old, looking back on his life. Would he regret leaving Wall Street? No. Would he regret missing the birth of the internet and the e-commerce revolution? He knew with absolute certainty that he would. That single thought was enough. The car kept moving west, toward the future. This journey is the starting point, the origin myth of Amazon. It's a story about a man who didn't just see the future, but was willing to upend his entire life to meet it. He wasn't chasing a quick profit. He was chasing an opportunity so monumental that the risk of failure was smaller than the risk of not trying at all. The garage in Seattle wasn't just a place to set up some computers and pack some boxes. It was a laboratory for a new way of doing business, founded on a simple statistic and a powerful idea. The initial concept was not to build the everything store, it was to build the world's largest bookstore, a goal that was, in itself, wildly ambitious. There was that simple beginning. From the very first day, Jeff Bezos installed a core principle at Amazon that would act as its unshakable foundation, an obsessive, relentless focus on the customer. This was not a marketing slogan or a line in a mission statement. It was a deeply ingrained operational philosophy that dictated every decision. In meetings, Bezos would famously leave one chair empty and tell his team it was occupied by the customer, the most important person in the room. This wasn't just a theatrical gesture. It was a constant, physical reminder of who they were ultimately working for. While other companies focused on their competitors or their profit margins, Amazon focused on making the shopping experience better, faster, and cheaper for the person on the other side of the screen. This obsession manifested in features that we now take for granted but were revolutionary at the time. Consider the customer review. In the early days, publishers and even some Amazon employees were horrified by the idea of allowing negative reviews on a product page. Why would you let someone publicly criticize something you were trying to sell? Bezos's logic was simple and unwavering. It helps the customer make a better purchasing decision. He understood that building trust was more valuable in the long run than securing a single short-term sale. That trust would, in time, become Amazon's most valuable asset, turning first-time buyers into loyal, repeat customers who saw the site as a reliable guide. Another innovation born from this philosophy was the one-click checkout. Bezos and his team recognized that the most frustrating part of online shopping was the cumbersome process of entering shipping and payment information over and over again. They patented a system that allowed returning customers to purchase an item with a single click of a button. This removed friction. It made buying things almost effortless, a seamless transition from desire to ownership. Critics called it a dangerous temptation, but customers loved it. It was another small incremental improvement that, when combined with others, created a user experience that competitors simply couldn't match. Amazon wasn't just selling products, it was selling convenience. This customer-first mentality extended to the physical world as well. The promise of low prices and a vast selection would be meaningless if the items didn't arrive on time. Bezos poured billions of dollars into building a network of massive fulfillment centers, sophisticated warehouses packed with technology, designed to get packages out the door with astonishing speed. This was a direct response to a customer need, the desire for near-instant gratification. The creation of Amazon Prime, with its promise of free 2-day shipping, was the ultimate expression of this creed. It transformed the customer relationship from a series of individual transactions into an ongoing subscription, locking in loyalty in a way no one had ever done before. If you want to understand how Amazon grew from a bookstore into a global behemoth, you have to understand a concept that Jeff Bezos sketched on a napkin. He called it the flywheel. It's a simple, elegant diagram of a self-reinforcing loop. It starts with a great customer experience. That experience attracts more traffic to the website. More traffic attracts more third-party sellers. This leads to a wider selection of products, which in turn improves the customer experience. This virtuous cycle spins, creating growth. A connected loop shows growth, lowers costs. Lower costs enable lower prices. Lower prices boost the customer experience. The flywheel spins faster and faster. This model was brilliant, but it required patience. The flywheel doesn't start spinning overnight. For years, Amazon was famously unprofitable. Wall Street was skeptical. They saw a business losing money. Bezos saw a business reinvesting every dollar back into the flywheel. He sacrificed short-term profits for long-term dominance. He wasn't building for the next quarter, he was building for the next decade. That was radical. Then, long-term thinking. Let Amazon make huge, expensive bets, others wouldn't. The fulfillment center network is a perfect example. It cost a fortune and hurt profits for years. But Bezos knew world-class logistics would spin the flywheel faster. He was playing a different, longer game. He told investors this, repeatedly attracting shareholders willing to wait. This reinvestment philosophy is key to his success. It's delayed gratification on a corporate scale. While competitors paid dividends or bought back stock, Amazon built infrastructure. It hired engineers, it developed new technologies, it expanded into new product categories. Each dollar pushed the flywheel a bit more. Over 2 decades, those pushes compounded, turning a heavy wheel into an unstoppable force of commerce. Section 4. The Accidental Empire, Amazon Web Services. Around the year 2000, Amazon was facing a massive internal problem. Its own technology infrastructure was a messy, tangled web. Different teams were building their own computing resources, storage resources, slow, inefficient, expensive. To solve this, Amazon embarked on a huge internal project to build standardized, scalable infrastructure services any team could use on demand. They built something so reliable and efficient for themselves, a thought began to emerge. If we need this, maybe other companies do too. This was the seed of an idea: Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Launched publicly in 2006, AWS was a move no one saw coming. To the outside world, Amazon was a retailer: books, electronics, toys. What business did it have selling raw computing power cloud storage? It seemed like a bizarre side project, but it was a classic Bezos move. Identify a core competency and turn it into a product for others. Amazon had become an expert at running massive, reliable, cost-effective data centers to power its retail website. AWS packaged that expertise and sold it to the world. The timing was perfect. The digital world was exploding. Startups and large corporations needed vast computing power to run websites, to run applications, but didn't want the expense and headache of buying and managing physical servers. AWS offered a revolutionary proposition: rent your computing infrastructure from us, pay only for what you use, scale up or down instantly. It was the flywheel concept applied to technology. It democratized access to high-powered computing, letting a new generation of tech companies like Netflix, Airbnb, Slack get off the ground without massive upfront investment. What began as a side project quickly grew into a colossus. AWS became Amazon's hidden profit engine. E-commerce ran on razor-thin margins. AWS was incredibly lucrative. High-margin AWS profits funded bolder retail experiments, from developing the Kindle, creating the Alexa voice assistant. It was the ultimate example of how one successful bet can finance the next. AWS transformed Amazon from a mere online store into a foundational technology company, an indispensable utility powering much of the modern internet. It was an accidental empire born from solving a messy internal problem. Section 5. The unspoken lesson: patience and scale. When we look at the story of Jeff Bezos, we see a succession of brilliant moves: the customer obsession, the flywheel, the creation of AWS. But underlying all of these is a simpler, more fundamental principle that is easy to miss. It is the relentless pursuit of scale, fueled by an almost inhuman level of patience. Bezos understood from the beginning that in the digital world, the winner is often the one who gets biggest, fastest. He built a company designed not for immediate profitability, but for exponential growth. The goal was to reach a size where the company's advantages would become permanent and unassailable. This focus on scale is what drove the low prices. Lowering prices might hurt margins in the short term, but it attracts a flood of customers. More customers mean more sales volume, which gives Amazon more negotiating power with its suppliers, allowing it to demand lower costs. Those savings can then be passed on to the customer in the form of even lower prices. This is the scale loop, a close cousin of the flywheel. It's a cycle that rewards size. The bigger Amazon got, the cheaper it could operate, and the harder it became for anyone else to compete. Small bookstores couldn't compete on price. Large big box retailers couldn't match the endless selection. The same logic applied to the fulfillment network. Building one warehouse is expensive. Building hundreds of them is astronomically expensive. But having a warehouse close to every major population center allows for cheaper, faster shipping. At a certain scale, the delivery network itself becomes a competitive advantage that no startup could ever hope to replicate. It creates a moat around the business. This is why Bezos was willing to endure years of losses. He wasn't just building a store, he was building an inescapable infrastructure for commerce. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, thinking 10 moves ahead. So what is the lesson for the rest of us? We are not all going to build a company the size of Amazon, but the core principle is transferable. The story of Jeff Bezos is a powerful reminder that the biggest rewards often come not from quick wins, but from a long-term vision executed with discipline. The lesson is to start with a simple, clear idea and to focus maniacally on the one thing that creates real value, in his case, the customer. But more than that, it's a lesson in the power of reinvestment and compounding. True, durable success is rarely a sudden event. It is the result of small, consistent efforts, repeated patiently over a very long time, until a small snowball rolling downhill becomes an avalanche.